Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie. Whiskey and an announcement today. Isn't that exciting?
It's great to see you again.
Oh, hi, it's great to see you again.
This is how we greet each other. Yeah. Welcome to the Bourbon Van. And Julie and I are seeing each other we've seen each other for about 30 hours total over the last 2 weeks. And it's great to be in your company once again. For those of you that don't know, we have been traveling. I was in Colorado for a boys' weekend and then came back just in time for Julie to head off to California for work. And if you saw that video a couple weeks ago where I shared all the bottles that I brought along for Boys Weekend and Boulder Spirits and had a tasting and all that, then you already know what I was up to out there. But Julie, in California for work, you were gone for, it seemed like a long time. What was your favorite part?
It was only a few days, 4 days.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I had amazing food, drank wine, and even went ziplining.
Look at you. What an adventurer. I didn't do anything like that. I went hiking at a very slow pace because that's how I do things in the mountains.
To be fair, it was like 2,000 feet of elevation. I remember seeing the Strava post.
Really? That's how much I did?
I think so. In a very short amount of time. It was straight up.
I'm not going to brag about it because Julie just bragged for me. Look at me go. Well, I brought home Boulder Spirits. I bought 3 different whiskeys home. Julie hasn't actually tried any of them yet. And so we're going to try 3 of them today. One of them I tried on that tasting video. So we're just going to make a quick work of that one. And at the end of this video, we'll say exactly why we're tasting these and what the announcement is, because we do have some pretty big news for us. It's a big deal to us, and maybe it's not that huge to everybody else, but I think it's pretty awesome. So
I think you're going to be excited.
Yeah, we're eager to share that at the end of this video, so don't go anywhere. Stick around for that. Let's get started with the bourbon.
Yep.
Boulder Spirits Bottled and Bond 5-year bourbon. This bottle costs $63, and let's get into it. What we need to know: 5 years aged, bottled and bond, so 100 proof. And this is, of all the bourbons that I tasted while I was there, and there were several, this is the one that appealed to my taste buds the most.
Did you love your tasting there? It's always fun to do a tasting.
So great. Yeah, Megan led a great tasting there, and she's a great host, definitely guided us through our tasting, and we had a great time. I was there with my brother and sister-in-law, and that was how crazy. Haven't seen them since December, so great to spend some time with them again.
Love when things work out like that.
It really
People's
did.
Plans. Nice and oaky here. There's like a little bit of a fruit note, but it's predominantly oak. Get a little brown sugar.
Yeah. I think there's a vanilla and almost like a plum presence here on the nose. And, well, it's certainly inviting. We're getting into the season of sugar plums and whatnot.
I was going to say it smells a little sugary, too.
Yeah, could be some Christmas time flavor in there.
Cheers. Oh, that was really nice. That was really nice.
Is that not the least tasting craft spirit you've ever tasted?
Yes, I had. When you said craft spirit, I was like, oh, right.
You expect farminess and all that? Not at all.
Yeah, it was like the oak was there on the forefront, but then it was like a rush of like sweet berries, cherry coming through there, a little bit tobacco notes that I picked up. It was lovely. It was a bit of a wave.
Yeah, there's milk chocolate here, a little bit of mint, and I said...
Mint. The mint is on the finish.
Yeah, exactly. Nice place to finish, by the way, on a whiskey. And I said that maybe a sugary plum, something like that on the nose. Palate, just a hint of that, like a brown sugar, apricot, maybe peach, but gentle, balanced, beautiful sip of whiskey here.
I love that you said peaches, because in that middle sip... I was getting a lot of like berry notes, but on this finish, it's just kind of sitting here, and I got a little mint, and then I was getting a little bit of fruit too. And as soon as you said peach, I could picture like, I don't think you should put sugar on peaches, but that's what it was like. Why not? Sugary peach there at the finish.
You out there putting sugar on your peaches? Let us know in the comments.
We used to put it on our strawberries. My mom, that was dessert.
That's a healthy way
Midwest
to eat your
dessert. Strawberries, sugar, and then Cool Whip.
Oh, yeah, Cool Whip on anything is just fine with me. That's one of my favorites. The journey of this whiskey is one of tons of fruit, tons of sweetness, chocolate, mint, and it really does take you to a couple of different places, and then it sort of drops you off right where you want to be with that sweet finish, satisfying finish. I can still taste the chocolate, the mint, and the vanilla. Just a robust whiskey, super satisfying, and at 100 proof, it doesn't get much better than that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. There's something about that light brown sugar note that's just so appealing. It just kind of works so well with the other flavors that you just mentioned. I am really impressed by this. This is my first time having the Boulder Spirits bourbon, and I feel like it's delicious.
It coats
Hit the
like
mark.
Yeah, right? Coats like crazy, excellent mouthfeel, finish lasts an eternity, and all the flavors are lovely. The mint in the end builds, but it's a sweet mint that doesn't overwhelm the sip even as you work your way through the glass. So beautiful way to start this flight. Excellent bottled in Bond 5-year aged bourbon there from Boulder Spirits. So again, Boulder Spirits growing all the time, keep popping up in different places. You can order it online. I know it's not everywhere. It's not even here locally.
Yeah.
But we're really excited about this brand and this bourbon in particular. So we're going to cleanse our palates and move on because the next two whiskeys are these
Right in your wheelhouse.
Oh, these beautiful American single malt whiskeys. Don't want to miss this.
Yeah, craft distilling.
Yeah.
You're right. Like a lot of times when you have a craft distillery, there is some leniency.
Yeah.
And because you're expecting it to be a little eccentric.
Dusty, Barney,
farmy, all of the things, maybe a little rough around the edges. So I
Yep.
was pleasantly surprised by that bourbon.
Doesn't that bourbon seem like it is? Yeah, there's no rough edges. It is streamlined with great flavor. I mean, you expect a whiskey like that to come out of a legacy distillery that's been around forever. It's surprising from a distillery that size.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm crazy about it.
Had a nice warmth to it too. It's only 100 proof, but it kind of gave me a nice little hug. It is very chilly today. It was like our first real fall falling into winter kind of day we've had here.
Yeah, it's not the best,
So-
but you went out for a long run, so you need to warm up.
I know. So drinking bourbon, the right, I was going to say aperitif, but maybe it's a dessert after running. It's my reward after running.
Yeah, better after than before. Next up is a beautiful bottle. This is the whiskey that actually surprised my brother and his wife and I the most because they're not single malt drinkers at all.
No.
This is their 7-year American single malt whiskey, and this is the one that we actually all agreed was the best whiskey that we tasted there. It really blew us away, and you know how I feel about bottled and bond products. So once again, 100 proof, 7 years aged, bottled and bond American single malt whiskey, and I love an age statement on American single malt whiskey because it wasn't all that long ago that you didn't really see that.
Right. And I mean, it probably doesn't mean much to you guys out here, but I do know your brother and sister-in-law, and they aren't single malt fans. So for them to say this was the best thing that they tasted, that's like a huge statement.
I should correct that just a second. The best thing they tasted was the pumpkin liqueur. They bought 2 bottles of that.
Oh, right.
But when it came to straight whiskey, it was this one right here. And I love this one because I think if you're a bourbon drinker who's not a fan of single malts, this is right there. This is in your wheelhouse. This is what you're looking for.
It's like an intro too.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, big, robust flavors and so satisfying. So even though it's not that far away from that bourbon that you might be used to, it's still super flavorful and satisfying to the bourbon drinker.
So I know that this is not going to resonate to the palate, but I got like a waft of watermelon. Just like for a split second on the nose, there's just like 0% chance that that's going to be a flavor note here.
You never know. There is an odd fruit sweetness there that's sort of hard to identify, but it does sort of hit like that overripe melon sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of oak, a lot of brown sugar here, which I think brings it home for the bourbon drinker as well.
Now that I'm digging in a little bit more, it kind of is cantaloupe the orange one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of smells like a ripe cantaloupe.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, a little musty,
Love it.
which a little beer-like on the nose. Kind of expecting that. Let's go in for a sip, huh?
Great. Oh. This is a bourbon drinker's single malt. It has all the bourbon flavors up front, and the single malt doesn't really come through until maybe like 3/4 to the finish. And even then, it's like a little chocolatey maltiness there at the end there, but it's pretty mellow. Like in terms of like single malts that we've had over the last year or two, like this is very mellow. So this really does feel like a bourbon drinker single malt.
Absolutely. This is This whiskey, I wish that everybody out there could taste this whiskey, and if you're a Scotch drinker especially, compare this to your unpeated, unsmoked single malts from, say, Bruichladdich or Glen Scotia or something like this. This is really in that wheelhouse. It hits so much like one of those whiskeys that we really enjoy.
Yeah.
But it also has that bourbon bent to it. You've got so much chocolate here. You've got a lot of vanilla here. You've got a lot of nice oak. So much to enjoy here that, and like you said, that single malt presence, it's there, but it's not forefront. It is not going to knock you out. Unlike a lot of those single malts that are unpeated, unsmoked from Scotland, this is such a balanced sip of whiskey.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time, how your palates have shifted. I mean, I'm sure you guys have experienced this too, but, it used to be all about the bourbons, and then we really got into rye, and then, you kind of got into Irish and Scotches, and then single malts and everything. And we talk about, like, daily drinkers, and single malts never fall into the daily drinker kind of situation. They just don't, because they're kind of...
Not for you.
Not for me. Maybe for Phil.
Yeah, they do.
But this feels like it could toe the line a little bit.
Yes.
I just really think the flavors are really enjoyable. I think those bourbon notes really come through. I love the finish. I like that it's not overpowering. I love that chocolatiness that you get there on the finish. And because my palate has shifted, and sometimes I get a little bit bored.
Yeah.
This isn't boring. Like, this is just enough, like, if I was just sitting on a whatever day it is and I didn't really want to think too much and I wanted to enjoy the evening and enjoy the sip, like, there's enough interest there that I'm paying attention to my glass, but I'm not, like, blowing it, like, oh, so much flavor.
I completely agree with that. And again, this finishes a little bit of mint, a little bit of chocolate, some oak, barrel char, vanilla, sweetness. That's a great place to end your sip because the spice and the sweetness all come together there. The balance on this one from start to finish, I think is great. And that 7 years of aging brings something so beautiful to the table here. I think it's a fantastic whiskey. This one thrilled me the most when I was at the distillery, and it's still thrilling me right now.
I really like this.
Look at you.
Like I got a smile now. The mid palate, there's something like a spice in there, like a mint or almost like a rye spice, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like a spice, like mid palate, that really kind of tips this over the edge, and then kind of flows into those chocolate notes that we've talked about a bunch of times now.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this.
Nice for the season too, because
Nice
there's
for the season.
a hint of like nutmeg and cinnamon there.
Yeah.
Just a tiny hint. It's not spicy. It's a hint of those flavors that actually settle in very nicely with all that sweetness. So beautiful whiskey here. The earthiness, the sweetness, the spice. And again, does that taste like craft whiskey to you?
No. And I keep thinking, like, if you're somebody who wants to get into single malts, but you just can't, or you've tried them and you're like, this really does feel like a great introduction.
Completely agree. All right.
Yay.
One whiskey left to sip, and it's the first one that's under 100 proof, not bottled in bond.
Okay.
And it's the first one with a little peat, don't go away. All right. Ready for something completely different.
I am. I'm still thinking about that single malt.
That 7-year bottled in bond. Well, we got another single malt here, and this is their standard 92 proof peated American single malt whiskey offering. But what I like about this one, 92 proof, $55.
Oh, nice.
Only 3 years aged, but a ton of flavor here. This is one of those whiskeys that I look at on paper and go, I don't think this is going to be super exciting.
Right.
And then you taste it, and it blows you away. And I think that the 3 years aging might seem like, okay, they could do better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you need to try this one. Let's get our noses in here.
I got some ripe bananas on the nose. Definitely peated.
But not overly.
But not overly peated.
You can tell it's there.
Yeah, you could just tell this is going to be a peated single malt.
Yes.
I mean, you told me, but you can also smell it.
For 92 proof, you're getting a big, full nose here.
Yep.
Again, brown sugar showing up. Not always something that you find on a peated beverage. And the oak, which I think is very special here. There's something, I don't know what they're doing barrel-wise up there, but there's something really special about it.
Maybe it's that high elevation.
It could be the altitude for sure. This one is, again, you take away the peat. Mm-hmm. This is a bourbon lover's drink.
Yeah.
Because chocolate, vanilla, oak, brown sugar, it's all here again.
Yeah.
But it's got a little twist to it. But what's interesting is sometimes you add that next flavor, that different thing, whether it's peat, smoke, whatever it might be, and it throws everything out of whack. I don't think that happens here, and I think we need to have a sip.
All right.
Cheers.
Yep. Cheers. So, this one probably isn't for everybody.
Makes a little noise.
It makes a little bit of a noise. What I really enjoyed about it was that first initial experience when you drink it, you're like, there's a punch of flavors here.
Intensity.
There's a lot of intensity, but it does mellow out there in the finish and it becomes really wonderful. That chocolatey maltiness on the finish, that is like the tie between these two. It's such a pleasant finish, but it is that strong. I mean, it's not overly peaty, but compared to this one, I mean, there's definitely a peat presence. So if you're not somebody who enjoys peat,
stay away from this one.
Probably not going to like this one that much.
But there's plenty of unpeated single malts as well at Boulder Spirits. But this is one that I think if you like peat,
yeah,
you should try this whiskey. Again, it goes back to the Scotch thing. I think that a lot of Scotch whiskeys can be a little bit overwhelming. They can be pretty intense. This one has an intensity to it. It does make some noise. And again, we say 3 years aged. It's at minimum 3 years aged. I don't actually know how long it's aged for.
That.
But the intensity there is about a flavor profile that brings you somewhere wonderful. That little bit of spice on top of all the vanilla sweetness, all the chocolate, all the sort of dry wood that you get on this one, and that light brown sugar. Again, we're talking about a lot of bourbon-type flavors.
Yeah.
But like you said, a little bit more fruit here, and then that spice that's almost a rye spice. I actually find that here as well.
On that second sip, I got a lot more apricot, brown sugar, vanilla. It's like all those flavors kind of came through. I think it was just that initial, we're drinking something that's a little bit peaty here. And then you have to give it a chance, right?
Right.
It's kind of like you want to let your bourbon breathe a little bit, right?
Yes.
And so on that second sip, that's where the fruit came through, which adds such a nice balance. It's almost like throwing it on the grill and you get a little bit of smoke to your fruit.
Absolutely.
That's kind of what you're getting here.
And all that flavor coming through, don't forget, it's 92 proof. This is some of the biggest. It's some of the biggest 92 proof flavor. That drinks like 100 proof whiskey.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, for $55, I think the value here is fantastic, and I think I've seen this one just sitting on shelves in the past. I think it's a pretty underrated, underappreciated whiskey that people might not know about, and that's one of the reasons I'm so excited to do this tasting today, because I think Boulder Spirits. I mean, granted, I've only went there and picked these up. I haven't tasted through everything in their lineup, but I got to most of it, and I can say that it's all very good. And these three here stood out to me as the class of the field. But I mean, I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, their cask strength stuff is fantastic," and it is. It's off the charts.
Yeah.
But the longer I go in my whiskey journey, the more I'm looking for whiskeys that go into that 90 to 100 proof range that are still really satisfying and flavorful. And that's where I think the strength of their lineup is. It's their standard flagship, call it what you will, whiskeys. That's where I'm finding unreal satisfaction from these 90 to 100 proof whiskeys. And that sort of takes us to what I think is the most exciting thing about our channel this year. You see, we've got the Advent Bourbon Tournament coming up this year. We're back to 32 whiskeys. It's a full tournament, and you will have brackets to fill out in November. And we're about to start recording this thing because we need to get it done so that we know what to make out of the brackets so that you can play the game. And this year, our sponsor partner is Boulder Spirits. Thank you so much to Alistair and Megan for coming on board. We cannot wait for this tournament this year. It's going to be all bourbon, and it's all going to be accessible bourbon, stuff that you can actually find out there. It's going to be sort of a return of back to basics, if you will.
Yeah, it's almost like the 2000 and... When did we start this?
2020. Our third video was an Advent tournament video.
I know, so silly. But it's but like Phil says, it's almost a back to basics. What we wanted to do with this tournament was make it accessible bottles that you can find, probably not in every state, but in more than 50% of the states.
Right. The biggest complaint that we've got over the last few years is, number one, these, we want to see more bourbon. We were getting American whiskeys, rye, rare, randoms things, single barrels that you could never find. And I want to see things that I can actually get out there. So we're going to take all of that advice. We heard what you were saying, and this is going to be the best tournament ever. And of course, it'll start on December 1st, but we'll share all the details about it in the very near future. But the big announcement, the big takeaway today is that Boulder Spirits is on board as our partner, and we could not be more thrilled. And the winners 4 different winners will get bottles of Boulder Spirits Bourbon. How great is that?
I am so excited. I love Boulder Spirits. We're just so pumped. Every year we're just so thankful that a distillery wants to come on board. And we're really pumped about this year, especially because it's a distillery that we just recently visited.
Right.
So that makes it even more exciting.
Each year we try to select a distillery that we are most excited about. And every year the distillery that we have asked first has said yes. And so we are so thrilled because the same thing has happened this year. We couldn't be more excited. And so there you go. That's the Boulder Spirits tasting. That's Julie's first impressions. It's great.
Yes, I enjoyed every single thing that I tasted today. I think there's a little something for everybody here. And I can't wait to taste more.
Oh, completely agree. We got to get back to Boulder, Colorado in the next year. That's never a hardship.
Nope.
From wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers. Advent.
It's months away. Sorry for bringing it up, but it's on our minds right now, so we had to share.